Have you ever watched a football game where the player in goal wasn't an actual goalkeeper? Well, it happens more often than you might think.
I didn't like it.
I loved it!
In this video, we'll explore 10 times outfield players had to step into the goalkeeper's role during a match. Let's start with one of the biggest stages in world football, the UEFA Champions League. In a group stage game between Manchester City and Atalanta, Claudio Bravo, City's goalkeeper at the time, was sent off. Their starting keeper, Ederson, had already been subbed off earlier due to an injury. With no professional goalkeeper left on the bench, Pep Guardiola had to pick an outfield player to step in for the last 10 minutes of the match. Enter Kyle Walker. Despite being a defender, Walker didn't shy away from the challenge. Surprisingly, he ended up making more saves in that short stint than both of City's goalkeepers combined during the game. But Walker isn't the only English defender who's had to play as a goalkeeper. John Terry once found himself in a similar situation during a Premier League game against Reading back in 2006. Both of Chelsea's goalkeepers, Peter Cech and Carlo Cudicini, had to leave the field due to injuries, leaving the team without a goalie. As captain, Terry stepped up, put on the gloves, and held his ground between the sticks for the rest of the match. He even managed to keep Reading from scoring. Still, Terry's experience was arguably better than what Rio Ferdinand went through. In Ferdinand's case, his very first task as a stand-in goalkeeper was to face a penalty. During the match, Manchester United's starting goalkeeper was sent off for committing a foul that led to a penalty. And since Sir Alex Ferguson had already used all his substitutions, Ferdinand had no choice but to step into goal. As expected, the penalty was scored. But credit to Rio, he at least dived in the right direction. When teams run out of goalkeepers, defenders often seem like the logical replacement. Both Terry and Ferdinand were central defenders, so they were naturally accustomed to stopping goals. But there's another England captain who once stay in goal still seems strange to us. Harry Kane, yes, the legendary striker, once had to stand between the posts. We all know Kane is highly effective near the opponent's goal, not his own. After that day, it's certain no coach would ever try playing Kane as a goalkeeper, even if there were other players on the field. In a Europa League match where he scored a hat trick, he was forced to put on the gloves when Lloris got a red card. A few minutes after Kane entered as goalkeeper, he failed to catch a ball he should have easily saved, practically gifting a goal to the opponent. But if you think Harry Kane as a goalkeeper is shocking, wait until you hear about Pelé in goal for Santos. Just like Kane, Pelé also scored a hat trick in that match before stepping in for Santos' goalkeeper, who couldn't continue. Unlike England's captain, though, the Brazilian didn't concede a single goal and helped his team reach another final. Still, we can't help but wonder, what makes coaches pick attacking stars like Kane and Pelé as goalkeepers when there are defenders on the field? Imagine how strange it would have been if, when Trapp got a red card in PSG's 2018 Cup match, they had called Neymar to stand in goal. Instead, they wisely chose Dani Alves, who helped secure his team's victory. But non-goalkeepers playing as goalkeepers isn't a thing of the past. Not at all. It's just the beginning of 2022, and we've already seen two different cases. First, Chakir Al-Hadar, the Comoros left-back, stood in goal from start to finish because all their goalkeepers were unavailable due to positive COVID tests. And he did brilliantly, making 4 saves and conceding only 2 goals in a knockout match against the hosts. They were eliminated that day, but Chakir could hold his head high, and his compatriots were undoubtedly proud of him. We also saw Serge Aurier play goalkeeper for Ivory Coast when their keeper suffered a severe injury and had to leave the field. The former Tottenham defender and captain of Ivory Coast truly led by example that day. Speaking of Tottenham, remember when John O'Shea had to replace Van der Sar in that match against Tottenham in 2007? You probably don't, but O'Shea surely does, as he managed to keep a clean sheet that day. We'll end this video with perhaps the most logical instance of a non-goalkeeper taking over the gloves. Jan Koller in a Bundesliga Klassiker match. After Lehmann was sent off, Koller stepped in. The natural choice, as Dortmund had used all their substitutions that night. Not only was he the tallest player on the pitch at 6 feet 8 inches, but he actually started his career as a goalkeeper before transitioning to striker. Did we miss any cases in this video? Share them with us in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. See you in the next video. Goodbye.